journey number 56 to your accomplishments. You know, so many times in our lives, we are looking to resurrect and change and, look ahead to what we have to do or accomplish, right, ahead of us. But sometimes we really need to just be in the present moment and to look at the accomplishments that we've already achieved at this point in our lives. So much of our energy is consumed with doing more and more and more, and naturally seeking new ways of doing things and new information. And I myself am guilty of being a seeker, which leads me in a position to be satisfied, but never satisfied enough, which means I'm always looking for new ways of understanding things and looking at things from a different perspective. But with that said, it's so important for us to pat ourselves on the back, to give ourselves credit for the places we've come and the things and battles we've conquered. And through our lives, the accomplishments that we've accrued, if we really look back a little bit and reflect on where we were once and where we've headed. And if many of you have experienced a dark night of the soul and you've had a breakthrough, you know that you've made an accomplishment. You've had a moment in time that put you in a different place and redirected you to a higher level of consciousness. And while I use the word level of consciousness and I use the word expansion, on a more earthly definition, we all need to be satisfied. We all need to look back again and to give ourselves that accolade of accomplishing whatever it may be in your life, whether it pertains to work, whether it pertains to a relationship, whether it pertains to self-growth. That inner reflection is an important aspect for ourselves to better understand where we're headed and what we need to do. So today, while some of us may look at certain things, for example, you have friends who look at financial gains as being an accomplishment, having lived in an environment and trying to do better, make a better life for their family. That's an accomplishment. For some people, removing themselves from dysfunctional relationships and working on themselves and finding inner peace and then growing on a personal level is a sense of accomplishment. For a person to be able to find their creative self, to be able to express themselves in a way where they're comfortable and that they are more authentic could be an accomplishment. So it's important for us today, right, to look a little bit deeper sometimes if we choose to on a spiritual level, since we sometimes are on that spiritual path, and maybe looking at things and facing things in a different perspective or a different way. So in other words, you can always ask yourself in the moment right now, am I shutting off? Am I disconnecting from people? And while that may be necessary, it may be something that a person wants to work on, right? Instead of being isolated, they want to become more extroverted, they want to become more social. For another person, let's say we can develop a greater sense of compassion and less judgment for ourselves especially, and then that would be displaced on others where we have more compassion for other people. And maybe it's a matter of loving oneself and knowing that we're not perfect and we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to look through the eyes of our parents or our ancestors at ourselves, that we can look through our own navigation system and we can get a greater understanding and perspective by working through our own eyesight, to our own inner knowing, inner sight. And knowing that we need to do that in order to be able to live the most authentic life we can. And then again, it could be an accomplishment of looking into having gratitude, not only for being here presently, for being alive, but also to be able to experience the wonder that life offers. And sometimes we lose that perspective because we get caught up in different types of accomplishments. And that could be anything, as I mentioned before. But what I'd like you to do today on our journey is to give yourself a pat on the back and to retrace some of the things that you've accomplished in your life, regardless of what aspect of life it's been. And you'll know and you'll receive that information from your spirit animal. So just be open to the information that comes through and sit in the state of wonder, because the universe is always communicating with us if we sit in solitude and we listen. And this is the perfect opportunity for us to do that. So what I'd like you to do now is to take a deep breath in, find a place to relax where you can close your eyes, you can cover your eyes and just get into a comfortable place. And when you do that, we'll start off by taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Taking one more deep breath in and exhaling. Keeping your eyes closed and just surrendering. We enter a beautiful forest. There are tall trees to the left and right of us. Breath in, and you smell the scents of the various plants in that forest. And as you walk along this path, you look up towards the sun, and its rays shine vibrantly on your face, warming you. Opening you up to Father Sun. And as you follow this hilly path, you're led to a stream. There's a footbridge. And you stop on the bridge and look to the right. And you listen to the water as it flows beneath you. The movement of the water scatters your reflection. Take a deep breath in and continue walking over the bridge. The path leads upwards. And you walk on that path. The sun becomes hidden by the branches that extend into the sky. And as you walk on this path over pine needles and tiny pebbles, you hear the birds whistling. Up ahead is an opening into a rock formation. And you follow that path inward. Walk through that tunnel, you see the light, and you come out the other side. Directly in front of you is a spiritual spirit animal. What animal do you see? You ask the spirit animal to show you your major accomplishments. head back to the cave. You walk through that cave, through the twists and turns, and you look at the ground for the light from the other side. And as you walk through, you take a deep breath. You follow the path with the pine needles and the sweet smell that fills the forest. And as you walk back, up ahead in front of you is the stream. You stop at the bridge and you look to the right. You take a deep breath in, and the moisture from the water fills your lungs. You continue on that hilly path. And to the right is a large pine tree. You put your arms around it, and you become one with nature. As the tree dissipates your positive ions, and you create a connection. You remove your hands and thank the tree and the forest, and you head out. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take one more deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. Move your fingers, move your toes. Bring your shoulders up to your neck and relax. And when you're ready, come back into the room. Okay, so today was our shamanic journey to our accomplishments. And hopefully you received some information that validated some of the things that you yourself knew you accomplished, but sometimes forget in the midst of our everyday lives of learning to overcome, to seek. And in many cases, we forget about some of the things that have brought us to this place that we're presently in. And some of the steps that we've taken, which were necessary for us to move up and climb in order to be where we are. There's nothing like the present moment, but we also need to reflect where we were in order to see our transformation. So when we look back and we see the transformation, then we know that we are on the path to creating or have the capacity to create other things for us in the future. But it starts with the present moment. So today, maybe we want to think a little deeply about things, or that we want to look into things and face certain feelings that we were uncomfortable about dealing with. Also, not shutting off to every issue that exists, opening ourselves up to the possibility of growing and facing things that we once weren't able to face. And one of the most important things is for ourselves is the ability for us to love ourselves. When we're able to do that, we're able to emanate our heart compassion and openness for other people. And that's an important aspect for ourselves. And always to keep the desire and the ability of wonder in our lives, and to have experiences that create this sense of wonder. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you accomplished what you needed today in this session. And hopefully you give yourselves more credit than you have given yourselves in the past, and that you take ownership for your capacity and your ability to be more than you are, but at your own specific pace. It's not a rush, it's not a race. We're all on our own separate journey, moving in our own directions and in our own timing. Okay, I hope you have a great day, and see you next week.